Okay. Okay, guys, we are officially recording.
Live?
So,
Hi there.
what we've done so far, now we're moving on to part 2 of this, okay? And it's not much harder than part 1 at this point. Part 1, I'll just remind you, we figured out that there's a guy named Standard Parabola guy, right? And the way we always recognize him is it's y is equal to x squared. That is Standard Parabola guy. Standard Parabola guy.
Woo!
Right?
Yes.
And Standard Parabola guy was what's that? Okay. Was xy, if I did this and I chose values for x, then I could find my y. So let's say I chose 0. Y would be 0. If I chose 1, y would be 1. 1 squared is 1. If x was 2, 2 squared is 4. Okay. And if I could go one more. If x is 3, it would be 9. So Standard Parabola guy is this. And so you actually practice this. I don't usually do the over 3 up 9 very often just because it's such a big jump, right? But sometimes I do, but not very often. But I could keep going. I could do 4, 16, 5, 25, 6, 36, 7, 49, right? I could keep going. But I don't usually need those, right? So the whole idea is when you see this, this is what you do. You say over 1, up 1, right? And this is over 2, up 4. And you do this from the vertex. From vertex. You know? And it's sort of like you pretend that the vertex is your origin. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It's not, you're not going to the origin, it's your vertex is like the origin.
Oh, are we gonna add B?
Not yet. We're gonna do that. We're gonna probably add B tomorrow.
Oh,
Okay? I was gonna add it today and then I thought, no, I wanna add an A. Right? I want you to see what the A does to a graph, okay? So no, well we've been doing A is 1. I want to add a non-1 number for A, okay? So you can sort of see what happens. All right, one step at a time. So this is Standard Parabola guy, over 1, up 1, over 2, up 4. Everybody gets that, right? Yes. Now, what happens though when I do this? When I write, where am I? Okay, when I write this, y is equal to 2x squared. So let's just do it. Let's do this. Let's choose the same x's and see what happens to our y's. So we've got an x and we have a y, and we're going to choose 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. If x is 0, y is 2 times 0, which is 0. Okay. So that didn't change, right? So if x is 1, 1 squared is 1. 1 times 2 is?
1, 2.
Right. So 2, right? And then if x is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. That's interesting. And if x is 3, 3 squared is 9, times 2 is 18, right?
So Gary, then it's just you multiply the exponents like
First.
there's this thing like what comes after the exponent by the number.
Yeah.
That's really easy to do.
Yeah, and one thing that some people will make the mistake of is if x were 2, say, they might go, well, let's do 3. If x were 3, they might go like this. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 squared is 36. What's wrong with that?
They're not using PEMDAS.
They're not using PEMDAS when they do that. Does that make sense? PEMDAS says you do exponents first before you multiply. So you can't multiply the 2 times this and then square it. You got to take whatever this number is, square it, and then multiply that answer times the 2. Remember that? That's PEMDAS, right? All right. So now let's look at this and compare it to this. What do you see? What's different?
It's just a double.
Yeah,
What's double? What's double?
The x the y's.
The y's are double, right? The y's, not the x's. The x's are still are the same thing. The only thing that's different is the y. Now what does the y do again? Y is your up and down, right? Your x's are your horizontal movement. Your y is your vertical movement. It means that instead of a normal standard parabola guy, it's going to be standard parabola guy stretched a little bit, right? Skinnier. It's going to be standard parabola guy times 2. Does that make sense? Standard parabola guy times 2.
Standard parabola guys.
So this is not standard parabola guy. That's standard parabola guy.
On a diet.
Standard. Standard.
Why don't you say on a
Parabola
diet?
guy.
Say on a diet, please.
On a diet.
Yay! Yay!
But I was going to say times 2. Right? So standard parabola guy times 2.
Standard parabola guy on a
So
diet
whatever
times
A
2.
is something, it's standard parabola guy times A, whatever A is, right?
Wait, standard Gemini parabola guy on a diet.
No. No.
Okay.
No,
So-
What's Gemini because I'm an idiot?
No, Gary, please don't erase
guys, wait, listen. So this is the key. When you're graphing, you figure out what your vertex is, right? And in this case, there's going to be no B, so it's going to be pretty easy. It's the whatever C is where your vertex is, right? Because there's no B to take it off the y-axis, right? And you find your vertex, and then you go to it. Instead of saying over 1, up 1, you say this. Over 1, up 1 times 2, which means 2, right? Right, but I'm just showing you. I'm over 2, up 4 times 2.
Hey.
So when you graph this, let's graph it. So we've got,
So it's over 2, up 8.
Something Gary for a frowny face to be over 1, down 2?
yes, exactly.
Okay.
Alright, so if I'm going to graph this, I first have to figure out where my vertex is. Alright, I've got an A, I have no B, so the vertex is going to be on my y-axis. I have no C, which really means I do have a C. My C is 0, right? So that means at 0, I'm going to put my dot. That's my y-intercept, where the parabola intersects the y-axis. Okay, so now I'm going to say over 1. I look up here, I see, oh, it's not standard parabola guy, it's standard parabola guy on a diet, times 2. So over 1, up 1, times 2, which is 2, right? Or you could do it like this. You could say over 1 twice, if that's easier. Over 1, up 1, up 1. You see what I'm saying? And then you're going to over 2, up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, up 4 again, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's whichever is easier. You can say over 1, up 1 times 2, over 2, up 4 times 2, which is 8. Or you can do over 2, up 4, right? See what I'm saying? And then, now, see how this one, now that I know that my y-axis is also my axis of symmetry. So my parabola will be exactly symmetrical to this one, this side. This side is going to be symmetrical to this side, right? So it's easier for me now. It's not so hard to go over 1, up 2 here, but going over 2, up 8, I don't really feel like counting those, right? I'm a little lazy. So what I do is I use my axis of symmetry. I see, oh, well, this is 1 over for my axis of symmetry, so I got to go to the other side of the axis of symmetry and do 1 over, put a dot. This is 2 over, so I got to go over here and put 2 over, do that. And now I draw my parabola, right? Not bad, skinnier, right?
That's working.
You guys, we could form a diet company, right?
For parabolas.
Parabolas, right?
We'd make so
I mean,
much.
when I was
Diet
growing up, did you guys hear about the pet rock?
Yes.
Somebody
Oh,
went
yeah.
out, collected a bunch of rocks, put it in a box, and then marketed it. They made over $1 million selling rocks.
I want to do that.
Pet rocks, excuse me, pet
That
rocks,
doesn't really surprise me though.
right?
Yeah.
We could market skinny parabolas.
There's a brand in Germany, and they were selling these diet pills, and inside there were tapeworms. And the diet pills, they worked really well, but people were starting to get really sick. 'Cause, you know.
Tapeworm.
Genius.
Guys, this is on video.
Oh yeah, right. Okay.
That sounds,
Tapeworms.
Ben, that sounds kind of
So-
like adipose from Doctor Who.
No,
Do I have room over here?
So you know the horse doctors that
Okay,
people
guys.
used to raise?
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be sure I
They
have room.
used to eat
Okay.
tapeworms so that way they'd be
Okay.
skinnier and they had blood. That way they would.
You guys, we don't
go
want to.
faster.
Anybody that's watching this video, we don't want them to faint, right? Like this could be.
Parasites.
This could be very. We don't want this to be rated.
Name
X.
it science.
Do you
Rated
want
X.
it?
Don't
Eat a
flag
tapeworm.
Here we go. Y is equal to 3x squared. I don't know, say minus 10. Wait a minute. Did I have that on? That might be what's on my homework. Hang on. If that's on the homework, we're going to change it.
No, don't change it.
Oh.
Gary, don't
It's
change
on the
the
homework.
3. My 3 looks
Just
We're
faster.
going
do
to change
plus.
it. We're going to make it minus 11.
No.
So you guys have to think. On the
Wait, we
homework.
have to go down a little.
All right. So
Yeah.
immediately.
Whoa.
Okay, guys. So let's come back together again. All right. So here I am. I'm going to graph this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. So the first thing I do is I find my vertex. There is no B, so my vertex has to be on the y-axis. There is a C, it's negative 11, and that is going to be where my vertex is, right? So I go down 11, and I put a dot. And I look at this, and I see, oh, it's standard parabola guy times 3. Okay, you with me? So I'm going to go down 11. Okay, so I'm starting here as though this is my origin. I'm going to go over 1, up 1 times 3. So I'm going to go up 3. 1, 2, 3, put a dot. And I'm going to quickly, immediately jump over 1 over here and put a dot at the same place. All right, over 2, up 4 times 3, which is 12. Got to go up 12. Whew. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm going to come over. This is 2 away from my axis of symmetry. I'm going to come over here, 2 away, put a dot. Now I'm going to draw my graph. Oh my God, we're getting skinnier. That's amazing.
It works like adipose.
Yes.
The fat just walks away.
Right.
Literally. It does.
Okay.
They're so cute though.
I know,
I
she's
want
like,
a pet
she's
adipose.
like, no, so Donna's
Okay.
like, oh yeah, so I'm investigating this. Okay, let me just go take
Y
this. Let me get you this first.
Equals 1/4
And she's like,
x squared minus 4 minus 6. Okay. So here we go. Here's our next one.
oh wow. What? Gary, Gideon
Okay.
made the worst joke.
So now it's okay, guys. Shh. So here we go. We're gonna graph this,
Where's my?
and we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is my. There's no B, therefore it's gonna be my vertex is gonna be on the y-axis, and it's hitting the y-axis at negative 6. So I have my dot there. Now I'm gonna go over 1, up 1 times 1/4.
1/4. Oh wait, no,
1/4.
yeah, 1/4.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Over 1, up 1/4, right there, right? Not very far up,
Over 1.
right?
That is not far up.
And I'm going to come over here and do the same thing. It's not very far up. Now, I'm going to do over 2 up 2 times 1/4 is 2/4, which is 1/2, right? Okay, 1/2. So I'm going to, up here I'm going to go half, which is about there, right? This is about a half over 2. Half.
Gary, this parabola's name is Fat Albert.
Yes, very fat Albert, see? And then let's do one more just to get an idea. Let's say x is
3. 3 times 3 is 9. 9.
Okay.
okay. Well, how about 4? Let's do 4. Well, I'm going to use something that I know 4 will go into. You know what I'm saying? Because if I use 9, I'm going to be dividing. It's going to be 9/4. That's going to be hard to graph. So I'd rather go over 4 up 4 squared. 4 squared is 16, right? So over 4 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, 4.
Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And up 16 divided by, 16 times 1/4, which is 4. So I go up 4. Where am I? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up here. Boom. There. And I'm over 1, 2, 3. Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on. I didn't do these right. There we go. And then over here, I'm going to do 4 over. I put a dot. Now, that doesn't sound right.
Gary, from right here, it looks kind of like a face. The 2 dots way out there are eyes, and the rest of them is mouth.
That doesn't. Somehow that doesn't look right because this is off. It's going to be.
This is a fast problem. It's so cute though.
Gary, I just
shouldn't have
noticed
changed
something.
this.
Gary, I just noticed something.
1, 2, 3, 4.
This is why we put our lines beforehand.
And then this was over 4 up. What did I say? 4.
Up 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. Up 4.
Especially in this area.
Right. So there we go. That looks more like it.
Gary, on your super thin parabola,
Yeah.
you ended it in a V shape.
Bad Gary.
I know. It's a little harder. I did it fast. I apologize.
Gary.
But Gary, you told us that
It should have curved a little.
You betrayed us.
all is well in the world.
But it is true though. As they get narrower, as A gets bigger, it gets narrower and narrower. And the narrower it gets, the more it's going to look like a straight line. It's going to look more like a V. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The fatter it gets, though, it's not going to look, it's going to look very clearly a parabola. Unless it's so tiny, the A is so tiny that it starts to look like a straight line. Do you know what I'm saying? A horizontal straight line, which is possible.
You're not gonna give us one of those, right?
No, I won't.
Thank
But
you.
does that make sense? Fist to 5. Do you get these?
5.
They're okay?
Can
Awesome.
we, can we just
All right,
finish
where
our
are
homework
we?
now?
So
that
I
we
think
don't
I'm
have
gonna
to
just
miss
call
any-
it quits on the lecture.
Yes, homework.
Yes, let's call it quits on homework.
Subscribe!
All right.
Thank you for
Watching on
watching.
YouTube.